So this thief stole hundreds of paintings from an artist's home, but he left one big clue that exposed his true identity. On the night the paintings went missing, police came to the artist's home. The flashing lights attracted a young, inexperienced reporter who mislabeled the incident as a $1 million art heist. But this was a big mistake because the paintings were actually worthless. In reality, the artist only painted as a side hobby. But the artist devised a plan where this mistake would actually help him catch the thief. He would perpetuate the false news reports in an interview with the young reporter. Then, he would hire a detective to buy the paintings on the black market, thereby catching the thief. The young reporter felt terrible about his mistake, and so he agreed to the artist's plan. "It could be my sister," the artist told the detective and reporter in secrecy. "She was always jealous of my talent. But it could also be my neighbor who expressed interest in my work. The third suspect, my art supplier, passed away a month before the incident, and so it couldn't have been him. Why was he a suspect?" The detective probed. "Because he sold me a special type of paint that's only visible under blacklight," the artist said. "But it's still a big clue, because only my neighbor and sister know about the special blacklight paint." According to plan, the reporter wrote a second article with an exclusive follow-on interview. There, they lied about how the paintings typically sell for thousands apiece. Meanwhile, the detective kept a sharp lookout on the black market. But to their surprise, what came next was a flurry of national reporters to the artist's home. On top of that, his phone rang off the hook, and his inbox was flooded with interview requests. It turns out, everyone wanted to know about the $1 million art heist. Not long after, the detective noticed a strange listing appear on a website well known for illicit art transactions. Sure enough, there were the artist's paintings, listed for thousands of dollars each. But unlike the original plan, there was no need for the detective to meet up with the thief. That's because there was something strange about a few of the listing images, something that revealed exactly who the thief was. Once again, the artist called for a secret meeting with the young reporter and the detective. It was time for the final stage of his plan. "We're close to catching the thief," the artist smiled. "But I have a confession. I lied." Suddenly, police officers stormed into the room, handcuffing the young reporter on the spot. "What's the meaning of this?" the young reporter shouted. "You see," the artist explained, "there was no art supplier. I actually order all of my paint online, and neither my neighbor nor my sister know about the blacklight paint. So when a listing appeared on the black market that revealed my hidden paint, there were only two people who knew about it. You and the detective." "It's the detective, not me," the reporter cried. "Interesting theory," the detective smirked, "but I'm not the one who filed a fake news report, the kind that would surely attract national attention. My only question is, why?" Now, the reporter knew the gig was up. "I just wanted one of my stories to be in the limelight," he said. "But as one of the youngest reporters, I always had to pick from the bottom of the barrel, so I decided to come up with one on my own. I never planned to sell the paintings. That was until I saw how much attention the story was getting, so I figured I'd see if the national media attention inflated their value on the black market." "Just one more question," the artist raised his eyebrow. "Since you couldn't have known about the blacklight paint, why didn't you just leave the blank canvases behind?" The reporter sighed. "In all honesty, it was so dark I couldn't tell the difference anyways." "Well," the police officer shrugged, "seems like all that's left to do is for you to hand over the paintings." "I would," the reporter sighed, "but I sold them all already." "To who?" the artist gasped. "I'm really not sure," the reporter defended. "They were wearing a hat and sunglasses." And so, the artist returned home, empty-handed and disappointed. But when he opened his door, he was shocked at what he saw. All of his paintings, neatly displayed throughout the room. Seated beside them, his smiling neighbor.